Are house robots going to take over the world? What happens when you shoot someone in the vagina? And is YouTube nothing but a conspiracy theorist factory?
All this and more on a hijacked episode of the Weekly Bazaar.
Okay, welcome to this week's edition of the Weekly Bazaar. You may have noticed from the intro that we're missing a very sexual Garrett voice this week. He's got other plans, bitch ain't got his priorities right.
All this and more
on this week's Weekly Bazaar. Yeah, but I think it's weird. Jimmy is co-hosting, he's guest hosting on his own channel. It's really weird.
That's how guests roll.
I'm just gonna guest host on my own fucking show, right? Okay.
I'm only gonna be the one uploading the video. God.
Okay. So, yeah, if you've joined us from the beginning, you know how this works. Now, there's so many bad things going on in the press, things we don't really want to talk about: politics, war, football, celebrity deaths. It's all bad. We talk about funny shit that we find on the news.
Yeah, literally go and tune into the Thors-Kin podcast if you want an episode about celebrity deaths just now.
Yeah, there were plenty this week. Anyway, so we're going to get on with the show straight away. I'm just going to straight in dry thrust this thing into you. And I wanted to start off by talking about a great piece of technology I saw. It looks amazing. And it's a thing called TEMI, T-E-M-I. And it's both a mixture of, do you remember Rocky? Paulie had that house robot. Happy birthday, Paulie. He used to follow him around. And then a good few years later, we had that episode of Big Bang Theory where Sheldon creates that robot that's like a thing that runs around with a TV attached to it with his face on it.
Sheldon 2.0, wasn't it?
It's something like that, yeah. And basically... Oh, fuck's sake.
Get prepared, man. Get prepared.
I've got
Come
the
on.
link here, but for some reason it's trying to fucking motherfucker. I'll try and find it now. I've got the link on my notes, but I press the link and it tries to be weird. Okay, T-E-M-I. Okay, so basically this video came up as a suggestion and I was like, are you fucking serious? And it's basically a tablet attached to a robot, and it follows you around the house. It's an actual thing, and it follows you around. It's got like Alexa attached to it, so you can ask it what the football scores are. You can ask it what the weather's going to be like. It's basically like Alexa that follows you around. All right, and it's a genuine thing. I'm really not.
Does this thing, while you're bringing that up, just to sort of like have a bit of back and forth, then does this thing have a webcam built into it? If it's just a tablet,
I think it has everything. I think it has if it's got a tablet, then it's definitely got a camera.
Because like anyone can access a webcam nowadays. Like whether it's like Johnny from next door who knows how to like code, or whether it's like sounding tinfoil hatty, but the government spying on you, or whether it's Microsoft with their damn DRM policies. Or, do you know what I mean? It's just like that. Let's come up with a cool gadget that people will want, that they'll buy from Hawkins Bazaar, and people will want to buy it, so they won't even question the fact that we can now like do the storyline from Watch Dogs and follow them around and record everything.
Well, at first I thought this is a daft idea because, like, we've already got Alexa. Who the fuck wants that thing to follow you around the house? But I think the application here is for big corporations. Like, for example, there's a video here of one of these things. It's an upright robot, and it's got a tablet facing you, and it records your face. So basically, it's very much like that Sheldon bot. People see that face on the tablet just roaming around. And this shows a guy wandering around a factory talking to colleagues and things whilst he's hundreds, possibly thousands of miles away. That is an amazing thing it's both amazing and scary. Could you imagine like wandering around the office late at night and just behind you is the fucking the CO, like, what are you doing in the office at this time of night? Like, it's amazing. It's an
He's just looking, it's like looking at porn. Oh, okay, carry on.
I've seen a few interviews of the creator of this thing, and he's saying that this is an affordable piece of kit. It's about £1,500, which is expensive to me, but to people that like their gadgets and their gizmos, and people spend that on a MacBook. So to have this wandering around your house, it could be handy in a way that your wife could be checking to make sure you ain't cheating. It could be handy to check in on the kids, to make sure the dog's okay. There are so many really good reasons to have something like this.
The only problem with it is it's got limited applications in terms of the area. It's like if you've ever had one of those hoovers that sort of figure out where it's going and hoover everything around, just you've got to leave it on for ages for it to find all the areas, because it doesn't really know its way around properly. It bumps into everything. I don't want something that costs £1,500 bumping into everything. And if it's following me around and I've got shit that I'm doing, I'm probably not just going from my living room to my kitchen, in which case I could just hold on to a tablet, going up and down stairs. Unless this thing is made by Boston Dynamics and it's running up fucking walls with the tablet. Just I can't see anyone actually wanting to use it in a domestic environment. It's really is going to be in warehouses and stuff like that, where it's just
exactly.
It's in areas like that. As I was watching something a while back when Microsoft was coming out with all their mixed reality stuff, and it was absolutely fascinating to watch with how instead of just virtual reality, where you're cutting off the world around you, you put a mixed reality headset on, and it's a clear visor, so you can. Right now, I'm sat on my bed doing this podcast. In front of me, I'd have my bed, I'd have my TV in my corner, I'd have the door of the right hand side. I've got my wardrobes there. Stick a a mixed reality headset on. It's still all there, and I can play Command and Conquer on my bed. Do you know what I mean? The world becomes the platform.
Yeah.
And in this business application, it was meetings and stuff where you could put it on and you could have holograms around, like the fucking Jedi Council around you. But you could have the CEO and every managers of each department around, and they would be able to be in different places. The problem is you've got to have a room to be able to do that, and you've got to have 5 to 10 grand's worth of headsets on each person. They can achieve that off £1,500 a pop and just have the bang for your buck version of it. I can see stuff like that taking off.
But the thing is, we've already got Skype you can do that with, and nobody's going to want to go and spend that kind of money just to slightly upgrade thing into a creepy ass looking robot.
You could, but what if you had people coming in, you had investors coming into, and they wanted to see what your warehouse operations were like, and you're there in a suit, but they're calling from Hong Kong, and you've got someone who's just they want to see around you. What you could take a laptop, a tablet round with you and webcam it all, or you could have one of these things and you could be given your presentation as you're introducing them to someone. This is such and such. This is the warehouse manager. He's in charge of this. This is where our production lines are. This kind of stuff. You could have tours to do that kind of stuff with. Same as if you click on your TripAdvisor things, how you can have 3D virtual tours around hotels now.
Yeah,
because they've got the 3D cameras. You could do the same thing. So quite interesting.
And as well, they're saying how robots are taking over the world, with car manufacturers, with this, that, the other. McDonald's now, you walk into McDonald's and there's just these screens everywhere where you order your food, and there's one person behind a till now. It is an effect, and it is affecting us. And what I feel sorry for is that kid that stands in PC world, and you're like, excuse me, do you know where the microphones are? And now you're gonna have a robot. It's gonna be this way, please, and it's gonna say,
doop, 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 doop. Just see 3PO, just I'm not even gonna go there.
Yeah. So I mean, yeah, it's great that they're taking this leap forward, but it's going to have some sort of serious effects with that sort of thing as well. But what I did like is their online presence. They're really, really good. And so there's people obviously they're trolling them There's one guy on their Facebook, on Teamy's Facebook, was like, "God help us all, here comes the Terminator," and they're like, "Teamy has no intention of terminating anyone." You know, they're not. What does it say? Teamy has no intention of terminating anyone, and it couldn't even if he wanted to. And then somebody was like, "Oh, you know that video of I talked about them going around the factory and stuff." Some smart ass was like, "Because walking is out of style, so is communication. Thanks." And then Teamy replied with, "The guy is in another country. He can't really walk around that factory, but he can communicate with his colleagues through Teamy. So that's style, still in style." And then somebody put, "I like your company. Got this idea from Bob's Burgers." And then they replied with, "Oscar Fluff, that's a great show, but no." they like to laugh and joke with the people that are poking him with a stick. That's great. I tried messaging him. I was like,
they're like the Wendy's of Twitter, of technology Twitter. Yeah. Wendy's Twitter is brutal. Have you ever been on that?
And that's great. I love people that go online with a lot of charisma and stuff. But anyway, moving on from that, let's do one of your stories. What have you brought to my table, buddy?
One thing that I brought to the table was a story that I saw on Richard Dawkins' Foundation for Reason and Science group or page, talking about a software engineer, Gilmo Chasley, if I pronounced that right, one of YouTube's software engineers between 2010 and 11. Basically, he's come out and explained the algorithm that runs in the background of YouTube's recommendation sort of system is completely pushing conspiracy videos to like a really worrying extent that you think, well, of course, if you Google something, then it leads you on to the next. That's absolutely fine. This guy basically, everything is done there for clicks. And they've come out and addressed this whole story. I'll kind of tell it back to front. They've addressed this whole story just to put it in context why it's so worrying. It is that the more clicks they get, the longer the people watch for, the more videos people watch, the more ad revenue they can get. Quality of information doesn't matter at that point. It's just, can we run an ad on it? That's what they run. Facebook's the same way. Twitter a little bit, but not so much. Google, another huge one. Basically, this guy, during his time there, he tried to pioneer a new way of doing it that pushed quality. Videos dropped, he got canned. Like, view time, rather, dropped, so he got canned. They've put in a bit of, like, an algorithm into this that sounds all innocent. Figure out what you need to listen to next. But he saw right through it and noticed that people were getting fed down at like a rabbit hole of misinformation. So when he left, he decided to do a bit of research himself and set up as a new user. And he's got like 4 or 5 examples here where within 3 clicks he's on conspiracy videos. So he's helping his son out on a school science project and types in Saturn. Click 1, he's got 10 facts you didn't know about space. Click 2, he's got can you believe it videos. And click 3, he's on full-blown Nostradamus predictions.
Fucking
He's got the next one. It's like you need to be a bit more specific. That's Saturn. If there's loads of videos about conspiracy videos about Saturn, then maybe you need to ask it a bit more of a specific question, like, is the Earth flat or round? That's a question. You are asking for information at that point. You're asking for an intellectual, informative video, right? Click 1. Forget 3 clicks. The best flat Earth video, 100% truth, the Earth is flat. Please debunk this, I dare you. Top 10 reasons people believe the Earth is flat. Best flat Earth proof 2017, you can't deny this evidence. You're asking for like a quality response at that point. You're not saying flat Earth conspiracy videos. This is the one that got me here. Sandy Hook shooting. Believe your own eyes, 9/11.
Oh, for fuck's sake.
And that is what, as a new user, that's the algorithm that YouTube is putting in place to try and get you to click on shit so that it can run ads.
And do you know what? Like earlier in the week, we were talking about this on Thors-Kin, and it's like this feeds people with these ideas, and it's not healthy. It's not healthy. But do you reckon there is conspiracy behind the conspiracy? Do you think that this is something that's been designed to create indifference in people?
No, I think this is a pure, clear-cut thing of money-hungry suits. This is the YouTube's chief product officer, Neil Mohan, basically said, "Our job is to give the user a steady stream, almost a synthetic or personalized channel." Where's the rest of it? Oh, I didn't screenshot the rest of it, but basically it's what I alluded to earlier of the way that we look at it is a platform. Can we run an ad on it? If that doesn't happen, then it doesn't make sense. And that is their response. That isn't a case of, oh, we'll look into it. They're just flat out, can you run an ad on it? No. And that's what, like, that's the crazy thing. And it's here, right before the 2016, this is all research that he's done. Right before the 2016 presidential election, his research found that more than 80% of videos to a new user favoured Trump over Clinton.
And that's dangerous.
That is dangerous. Taking sides or not, like, to be honest, I know people don't agree. Like, I'm not going into politics here. If Clinton got into power, there would be World War III right now, because that and Russia would have just been chaos. But still, you got to approach it from a neutral side, not a case of who should have got it. It's like that should have been a 50-50, whichever way that you want to go down the rabbit hole. Then it presents you with stuff.
And we're saying we don't want to talk about politics. I mean, that's the whole idea of the Weekly Bazaar. But I find it really intriguing, and it's really interesting on how technology nowadays can influence the world. We're talking about how robots can take over the world and AI and all this sort of stuff. And this is where it begins. It's giving you false information. Bots on Instagram, Twitter, we run a podcast, and I've got an Instagram account, we've got a Twitter account, and the amount of bots you get trying to follow you and stuff like this, you look and they follow like 10,000 people, but they also have 10,000 people following them, and they don't. They are followed by bots, and that creates a bit of false insecurity, or security, should I say. And this is what this information does. It creates all these videos with so many views and so many followers and things like that you think it holds a bit of substance to it, and it doesn't. It's just this machine of insecurity.
Yeah, and,
exactly. It is interesting because this is the world we live in now. Mm-hmm. Where the whole of America has been duped into this election by technological insecurity. People are like, it's been rigged. We're feeding you just said that we've fed all these videos on YouTube. Mm-hmm. It's scary. It's scary.
It is, especially when you consider the fact that, like I said before, that 20%, this is what I was trying to bring up earlier. Publicly, executives have said that the recommendations of the algorithm drives over 70% of the content watched on YouTube. That equals 1.5 billion people's worth of content. I know that it works out to who's watching more, but of 2.2 billion people watching YouTube, it's 1.5 billion people plus is the influence directly of that algorithm that within 3 clicks is pushing 9/11 conspiracies when you're trying to find information out about a school shooting.
It's crazy. It's crazy, and
that's misdirection to the point of you need director Nick Fury to launch the helicarriers with the algorithm to figure out who's going to kill someone before they kill them and shoot them all. Captain America needs to sit down at that point and just let that happen. Just
you wanted that word,
Winter Soldier. Just let that happen. Just stop it. It's just scary.
And I saw a meme as well this week, and it was a woman from the 1940s going, "Oh, I better not say that over the phone. They'll chip my phone." And then there's a woman cooking in the kitchen with Alexa behind you going, "Oi, phone chip! How do you cook spaghetti or something?" We've all chipped our phones if you've got Alexa. And it's a progression of. It's a world we're all going to have to get used to living in now. I'm afraid. Okay, I'm going to move on from this to quite a funny, but okay. So this story it made me laugh, but okay. So a woman got shot in the vagina by her fella who was who was doing things with the shotgun that he shouldn't have been doing.
With a shotgun.
With a shotgun.
Not just like they were at the firing range and it went off.
No.
Wrong. Like,
I'm not going to use names.
God.
I'm not going to use names, but this woman had a fetish of having a loaded weapon inserted inside her. Okay. This is the weekly bizarre, people. This is the stories that we like to tell. Yeah. So this guy from the UK, by the way, Stockport in the UK, met up with this woman. She had this fetish of having a loaded weapon inserted inside her. They drank, they took drugs, and they took part in this sexual act. But the gun went off while it was inside her.
I'm assuming she's dead.
Actually, no. She got hurt very, very badly, as you imagine, and she got catastrophic, life-changing internal injuries. Yeah, but she's alive, and this guy's gone to jail for it. This guy obviously gone to jail for it. It's just mind blowing. Why the fuck would you do this?
How do you get shot in the vagina with a shotgun and survive? just like
wow.
If you look in the English dictionary of oxymorons, that's the example that they give.
Welcome to 2018, folks.
That's insane.
This guy's gone to jail. He's how long did he go to jail for? He's had his sentence cut because it was a consensual thing. He didn't force this thing.
Yeah.
Like, there are messages between the two that
are
building up to the event.
That's insane though. Like, still, you've got to go to jail for that. Like, you're the small percentage that evolution needs to get rid of at that point.
Yeah, it's just fucked up. There are more and more of these people. I mean, I'm guessing there's more of a reach of like information with social media and whatnot, but there are more and more of these idiots just appearing in the news lately, like the guy with the steam-powered rocket to prove the Earth was flat, and like all these conspiracy theorists. I think the moon landing was. There's more and more of these people, and it's because of YouTube. What you just said.
Yeah.
But yeah, he was going to get a really hefty prison sentence, but it was cut dramatically because it was a consensual act.
Mm-hmm.
There isn't a case of possession of a conventional modern gun because it was an antique shotgun.
Yeah. It's one of those. It's a weekly bizarre story, isn't it? Like that's what that is. Like, you've got to go to you shot someone up the vagina. You're going to jail. But
I think,
yeah, you shouldn't. Like, your life shouldn't end there. Like, that's the kind of spend a year in jail, think about what you're doing with your life, and then get back to contributing towards society, please.
I think we need to bring back dunce hats. You know, those big triangle.
Yeah. So instead of a red dot over the top of your house on Google, if like you're a kiddie fiddler or something, it's like, if you're an idiot, you've got a dunce hat on. Everyone knows.
If you get seen without outside your property without your dunce hat on, you're going to jail, son. You're going to jail, all right? And you got all these guys walking around with dunce, or women, walking around with dunce hats, and you just know they're people that just don't belong in society. I think this is a great crime, or a sandwich board or something to walk around with.
A sandwich board. I shot someone up the vagina. That's your community service for a while.
or something they can inject into their balls to make sure they just don't reprocreate and make life again.
Do you know what? Like, yes, you sound like Hitler at that point, but I couldn't agree with him more at that situation. Just like, some people should not breed.
Yeah, exactly. And off you go.
But kind of stealing it back off you, because it's a perfect segue of sort of the areas of responsibility within a crime. I think I should have probably taken this first. I don't want to end on a low, so let's keep it this kind of like tone upbeat, but just as much as we can. There was a situation over in, I think it was in the States. It must have been, because as our guys don't carry guns. A bunch of guys, a couple of friends, sort of like robbing a building, sort of mid-burglary. Police officer turns up, shoots one of the guys, and he died. Now, the officer, obviously, he's within his legal rights to do so at that point, provided there's enough proof, blah, 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 blah. He didn't get anything put against him. The burglar who survived was charged with murder because and get this, I kind of agree with this, as long as it's, again, not going down a rabbit hole of like, how do you prove it? Because his actions led to the situation in which his friend got shot, he was criminally responsible for his death, even though he didn't fire the weapon. Which is kind of like, it's kind of true.
It's like those stories you hear about people telling people to commit suicide. They haven't actually physically harmed someone. They haven't done anything other than tell them to do it. You know, there's these people, they go to jail for manslaughter.
Yeah.
So yeah, it's a very similar premise to not actually physically doing something, but causing damage by your actions.
Yeah. I think it's something that that really, really should be sort of like extended, because in those situations, like, yes, you could, depending, I can imagine a courtroom that is like, that you could get out of a situation by making it so complex and convoluted of, he had an interaction with him on social media and his YouTube browsing history suggests that, and this, that, and the other, and you end up like having 25 people on the chopping block, and the person who actually shot the gun is like, it was their fault. But in situations like that, where it's a case of you're robbing someone, and someone's ended up being killed because of it, like,
I could just imagine, like, in his defense, going, guys, like, I went onto YouTube. I looked for a recipe for a good fajita mix, right? And all of a sudden, a video come up and it described to me how to get away with the perfect crime. I am innocent. YouTube did it.
YouTube told me to shoot her in the vagina.
Oh my god, that's a crazy story. I'm glad he's you know, you need justice for this copper's death, you know.
It wasn't the police officer, it was the other burglar.
Oh, sorry.
Yeah, it was the officer who killed one of the two robbers, basically. And the one that's the criminal that survived got charged with his murder.
It's a great twist, and it's a good. It'd make a good movie. Make a fucking great movie. Courtroom drama. Good story, man. Good story. I'm glad you brought that. Listen, I'm gonna end with like, since we started the Weekly Bazaar, we've had people send in stories to us, and I had one from R. Gray, who's famous on Thors-Kin. He sent me a story which I have to tell you. And it's a story about, let me just read the headline very quickly before we go. A young man who took painkillers after a go-karting incident firmly believes the drugs have made him gay.
I saw this one.
This is a uni lad story, so I don't know, you know, how correct that.
No, it was on this morning.
Was it really?
Yeah.
So yeah, he's taking these painkillers. He confirms that he was strictly heterosexual before he took the tablets, and after taking the tablets, he's now gay.
Son, you was gay all along. It's like, it's 2018, mate. It's fine. It's not like.
This is a guy that was on fucking chat roulette or fucking some fucking video chat thing, jacking off to some guys. His missus has walked in. And he's gone, what am I doing? I don't do this normally. Oh, shit. He's closed his laptop and he's thought, shit. He's looked at his table and he saw his tablets and he's gone, the tablets did it. Oh, love, I'm going to have to let you go. I love cock now. It's the tablets have done it.
Yeah, exactly.
Oh, man, this is so funny. Where are you? This morning, I get in. Everything's so right at the moment. You had the guy with the Samantha sex doll. They got the guy with these fucking bad tablets.
It's just like, wouldn't you like just if that was the case and you were gay? Wouldn't you like? Fair enough. Like, not being gay myself, I'm sure that like it can be difficult, and you're thinking how are my family going to take it and all that kind of stuff. But it's not like the world is like it was 50 years. It's not like the world was like it was 10 years ago or 5 years ago. It's like you've almost got society pushing you to be gay now. Do you know what I mean? It's like you've got people coming out as fucking heterosexual. Just like, I'm sorry guys, but I actually like vagina. I hope you're all right with that. I hope that the Facebook SJW sort of community is okay with the fact that I like to eat meat and I like vagina. Not the same kind of meat there. Different reference. One was vegan, one was sexual. It's just like, it's fine. Like, that's the world we live in now. You don't have to blame it on fucking painkillers. Just like, the dog stole my newspaper, so I couldn't find the news, so I had to go on YouTube and I googled the Sandy Hook shooting, and all of a sudden I was on videos of fucking 9/11 and do painkillers make you gay? Just like that. It all links in. Like, that's the problem. And I'm sorry to bring up like really sensitive subjects in that, but that's the problem.
And I was just laughing to myself because you brought that up. I just had this idea of, okay, so I want you to talk about exactly what happened that day. Oh, all right then. I took my tablets, right? And I thought, I need to go on YouTube and find a nice recipe for fajitas. I want to make a nice fajita mix. So I'll go on YouTube, right? And I type in fajita mix, right? And all of a sudden, a video comes up of how to suck a good dick, right? So I click on it, right? I seen a guy suck a dick, and then my wife walks in, and I'm like, I don't know why I've got this erection, but it must be the fucking tablets. Must it, love? It must be the tablets. I don't know why he's from Manchester.
Oh god, we have so many good sound clips.
Okay, so I think we should end it there before I start getting hard.
Please make that the sound clip edit for this week's promo, like that.
I'll think about it. Jimmy, I really want to thank you for coming on this week's show, because I know doing our one show together is enough for you to handle. Doing two is just too much. It's just too much, man. I want to say to the viewers that Garrett will be back next week. You won't have to put up with Jimmy again.
Yeah, it's all right. You are allowed. You don't hit unsubscribe. It's fine. You can tune back in. You're allowed to. And
thanks to Graham Arnold for that that story about the painkillers. That it made me laugh so much. And thanks for everyone being kind about the show as well. So tune in next week for week 4 of the Weekly Bazaar. I've been Alex and he's been Jimmy.
Yeah. Thanks for joining us, and make sure you like, subscribe, and share, and all that goodness.
Yeah, boy. And I'll see you next week. Peace out, y'all.
Yeah, boy.
Yeah, boy.